Hello everyone, my name is Hani Sausan Alya, and today I am going to tell you the story of one of the most loved stories ever, Pride and Prejudice. So I'll tell you the story in a simple and fun way, so sit back and enjoy watching. Now let's get started. So the story takes place in England in the very early 18,000s, where marriage was very important, especially for women, because if a woman didn't marry well, her life could be really hard because they couldn't own property or earn much money. And in this story, we meet the Bennet family, and there are five daughters. The first daughter is Jane. She is sweet and gentle. Elizabeth is our main character. She is smart and independent, also sometimes sarcastic. And then we have Mary, who is quiet and serious, and Kitty, who likes to follow other sister, and Lydia, the youngest and the wisest. And their mother, Mrs. Bennet, was always thinking about one thing, which is how to get her daughters to marry to rich men. And their father, Mr. Bennet, was calm, funny, but doesn't really do much to help the family. Then, one day, like something exciting happens. There is a saying that a very rich young man named Mr. Bingley moves into a house near them called Netherfield Park. And when Mrs. Bennet heard it, she was like over the moon because she dreams that Mr. Bingley will marry one of her daughters someday. And at a local dance in the ball, Mr. Bingley meets Jane Bennet, and they really like each other. It was like love at first sight. They smile, they dance, and everyone can see that there is a connection between them. But on the other hand, Mr. Bingley brings along his best friends named Mr. Darcy. So, Mr. Darcy is richer, taller, and very handsome. But he is also very proud, quiet, and a bit rude. So when someone suggested Mr. Darcy dance with Miss Elizabeth, he said something terrible. "She's not handsome enough to tempt me." When Elizabeth hears this, she feels insulted and immediately dislikes him because she thinks that he's an arrogant and cold man. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Soon, Miss Elizabeth meets another man named Mr. Wickham. He's like a soldier, he's handsome, kind, and tell her a sad story that Mr. Darcy ruined his life by denying him the money that was promised to him. And when, since Elizabeth already dislikes Darcy, so she easily believes Wickham's story. And she thinks that Darcy is a terrible person and she likes Wickham even more. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Jane and Mr. Bingley seem to be falling in love. But suddenly, Mr. Bingley leaves town without any explanation, and Jane was heartbroken when she heard that. And when Elizabeth found out that Mr. Darcy was the one who convinced Bingley to leave because he thought Jane didn't love Bingley back, Elizabeth was furious and thinks that Darcy was a heartless man. And one day, out of nowhere, Mr. Darcy confesses that he loves Elizabeth and asks her to marry him. And he said that he can't stop thinking about her. But the way he said it was terrible. He said that even though her family is poor and embarrassing, he still loves her and wants to marry her. What a rude man. But Elizabeth was angry and she tells him no, she said that he's a proud, rude, and responsible for ruining her sister's happiness, and also tell him that he hates it because what he did to Mr. Wickham. Mr. Darcy couldn't utter any words and leaves, but instead of getting mad, he writes Elizabeth a letter to explain everything. In the letter, Darcy tells her that he actually truly believed that Jane didn't love Bingley because Jane hides her feelings, and Mr. Wickham is actually a big fat liar who wants to marry and run off with his 15-year-old sister. When Elizabeth read the letter, she was shocked because she realizes that she was wrong about Darcy, and for the first time, she begins to see Mr. Darcy differently. But then sometime later, Elizabeth visits Mr. Darcy's home in Pemberley, and there she sees a different side of him. He's kind, polite, and respectful, and even his servants love him, and he shows great care for his younger sister, like he loves her very much. And Elizabeth begins to change her feelings. She starts to see the real Mr. Darcy, not the thought she thought he was. But just when things seems hopeful, disaster happens. Elizabeth's younger sister Lydia runs away with Mr. Wickham without getting married. And back then, it's like a huge scandal. It was like a taboo, and it could ruin the entire family's reputation. And when Elizabeth heard this, Elizabeth was like heartbroken and embarrassed because she knows this might destroy any chance she has with Darcy forever. But then something amazing happens. Mr. Darcy actually secretly helps Elizabeth. He finds Lydia and Wickham and pays off Wickham's debt and arranges their marriage to save Elizabeth's family from ruin. He didn't tell anyone about this. He doesn't do it for praise because he does it because he truly cares about Elizabeth. And when Elizabeth finds out, she was overwhelmed with gratitude and admiration and she realizes that Mr. Darcy is not proud and cold like she thought. He's kind, brave, caring, and a generous man. And at the same time, Mr. Bingley returns. He apologizes and explains everything to Jane and asks Jane to marry him. And of course, she says yes. And finally, Mr. Darcy proposes to Elizabeth one more time. This time, he was humble. He was gentle. He asked Elizabeth nicely to marry him and proposes his love. And Elizabeth said yes. So they got married, and so do Jane and with Mr. Bingley. The story ends with two happy couples with love and respect. So that's the story of Pride and Prejudice. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoy the story because I do, and I hope it reminds you not to judge people too fast. So that is all from me. See you next time. Bye bye.